Neil Broughton brings his line out. And we are underway at the Met Center in Game 5 of the series. A fast break inside the line. Broughton could not control the puck against Fedosov. Dino Cicerelli trying to jam it in there. Digs it free. Popped it out. Nobody there. And here comes Krutov starting a play for the Soviet Union. Timonev sweeps inside the line. Got taken down by Kirk Giles, number 2, falling along the board. Ahead for Cicerelli. Feeding it for Broughton. Too far for him. Soviets bounce it back out to center ice where they fight for it and freeze it against the boards. And now an early penalty call coming up from referee Bob Myers. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment.
You'll see Giles along the boards get checked and freezing the puck. Dino's going to come in, and he takes one little cross check right here, but then he's not content. He takes another one. That's not a very smart penalty. That's what we're talking about. And you don't want to give the Soviets an advantage that early.
Absolutely, Lou. An unnecessary penalty just 36 seconds in. Indeed, the Soviets do have the advantage. North Stars forced to play in with Eaves in the corner. He's got Klett with him. Or Payne. Timonev, as the top Soviet line, remains on the ice. Works it to the blue line, no further. Larionov leaving it back there for Kazatonov, the defenseman. Now sends Timonev away with Krutov on his right. Krutov sweeping in on goal, cutting in behind. Makes his play back to Fedosov. He likes to shoot from the point, lets it go, and it's deflected up into the crowd. A face-off in the Minnesota zone.
Well, Soviets starting out the same way as we take a look at Al McAdam, one of the noted Minnesota penalty killers. They like to get that puck to the point. They try to screen in front, set up a screen in front of Matson, took the shot, was deflected over the glass. Eaves and McAdam, very good skaters up front. If they get the puck, they'll try and control it. They like to put pressure in the Soviet zone, and that way they can kill part of the penalty.
Face-off picked up by Kirk Giles. The North Stars defenseman leaves it there in the Minnesota corner. Krutov, Larionov can't get it to him. Here comes Mike Eaves. It goes down the ice. A minute and 10 seconds left in Cicerelli's penalty. Soviets passing it ahead blindly. North Stars bring it back down to their zone again. Shot in there by Dan Mandich. Minnesota with the only 20 healthy players they could muster for this game tonight. Dressing just 20. Past Ferguson down to the Soviet corner. The Soviets, who've been effective on 4 of 21 power play chances, not looking very impressive so far on this one, being tied up by the North Stars, one of the NHL's better penalty killing teams. And back down it goes by Hartsburg. 30 seconds left now, and the penalty for cross-checking to Cicerelli. Soviets shoot it down the ice. They will be called for icing, an unpardonable sin on the power play with 22 seconds left of the penalty.
Well, the unit of Ferguson and Young that just went off there is more dangerous offensively when they're killing penalties. These two, McAdam and Eaves, will play with the puck more. Both units, however, as we look at Victor Tikhonov just checking how much time left in the penalty, both units will try and pressure you so you make errors in your own defensive zone.
Mike Eaves moving in for the face-off, wins the draw back to Hartsburg, dumps it down in the corner, hops over Eaves' stick in there. Now Pervukin getting it ahead to Kapustin. He is taken down by McAdam. 7 seconds left in Cicerelli's penalty. Back to the blue line for Pervukin. Cicerelli steps on the ice. Minnesota's back at full strength. Brought in by Chalamov. Bodied hard as he got inside the line. Now a chance for the Stars. Here is Smith trying to get around. Pervukin cannot do so. Back inside they come. Trying to feed it right in front. Oh, a great scoring chance there. The puck hopping over the stick of Smith, and back come the Soviets. Kapustin. Getting around Mandich. Trying to dump it out in front. Shot behind the goal. Back to the point. Slap shot. Blocked by the goalie Matson. Delayed penalty now. It'll be called against Minnesota as the Stars bring it out. Their second penalty of the game. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
Well, the North Stars will be shorthanded again. Mandich in front of the net. An interference penalty. You see him going over to the Russian forward, knocking him down. And Matson makes a save. Mandich going to the penalty box. The Russians on the second power play of the evening. Dan Mandich, a youngster out of Ohio State University, first-year pro.
North Stars just killing off the penalty to Ciccarelli. Will have to endure the Soviet power play again, but the Soviets did not look terribly impressive. Getting off to a slow start on this power play. A high stick brought about that whistle, and they'll bring the faceoff back into the Soviet zone.
That's right. When you're a man advantage and you have a high stick, knock the puck down like that and play it, the puck goes all the way down into your own defensive zone. The Soviets, as we were saying earlier, like to capitalize on the shooter from the high slot or the point on the power play, but they haven't had the opportunity to do that thus far in these two penalties.
Vyacheslav Bykov wins the draw against Tim Young. Now Starikov starting Bykov away. Two North Stars there to hound him and break it up at the Soviet blue line. Vasilyev, one of the series' most impressive performers, gives it to Zubkov. Now away on the right side is Bykov, being squeezed off on the boards by Ferguson. Still inside the North Star zone. They get it across. The shot by Mikhailov goes high into the crowd with 1:27 left in the penalty, the second of the game, to the Minnesota North Stars.
Good play there by George Ferguson and Gordy Roberts, not allowing the Soviet forward to come too close into the zone. He was able to check him at the blue line, force the shot from way out. Ferguson deflecting that puck over the glass. As we look at Timmy Young, who's been doing a lot of penalty killing and power play units for the Minnesota North Stars this year.
Mike Eaves on the faceoff, back to the Minnesota corner and promptly shot down the ice. Tretiak has extended his scoreless string by almost 4 minutes now to this first period. No score in the game. North Stars again doing an impressive job of backing the Soviets up on the USSR power play. Krutov away from McAdam on the right side. Feeds it back to Fedosov to his left. Now Timonev breaking out of there to Krutov inside the line. They get a lot of ice time, these three. Fedosov contains the puck there. Passing it down to the left side for Krutov. Away over to Kazatonov. He booms the slap shot. Rebound. Larionov shot blocked by the defense and cleared out over the blue line. Another penalty call, though, by the referee, Bob Myers.
Playing the puck over his shoulder, so the faceoff will go down.
So it's no penalty. Myers has made the call of the three on the ice. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. From the face-off, it is shot back down the ice again by the North Stars. Back come the Soviets. Just 10 seconds left now in the penalty as Krutov went down hard into the boards in behind. Tim Young with it for Minnesota. Getting some help from Gordy Roberts. And around for Giles. Long pass too far from Mandich out at center ice. Rolling down the ice. Stars back at full strength. Soviets, Fedosov touching it. Minnesota called for icing.
Well, as we look at Fedosov, probably as fine a defenseman as there is in the game today and one of the outstanding shooters on the Soviet defense. We have to realize that at almost 5 minutes of play here, the North Stars really haven't had a chance to use any of their lines, having killed 2 penalties. This sort of gets some of the players a little stiff. You want to get everybody out there as early as you can in these games.
From the face-off, Zlukov leaves it there. Babinov holding it in for the Soviets. Crossed to Zlukov. A quick shot blocked by the defense. Minnesota endeavoring to clear with Bobby Smith unable to get his stick on it. Now across for Varnakov. Over on the far boards, it is cleared in behind the Minnesota net. Indeed, plenty of pressure against the Stars in the first 5 minutes and 45 seconds of action. 2 power plays they have killed off successfully. But not much opportunity to generate some offense. In the center ice area, this is Mikhail Varnakov. Passing it again, nobody up there. Mandich shoots it back in. He's got a teammate offside, and they call it as such right there at the Soviet blue line.
Well, Mandich had that puck just over the red line. He saw he was the last man, and if you're going to be pressured and you don't know what to do with it, you just as soon take a whistle, and that's what he did. He flipped it in the zone with Minnesota going offside. There's Bobby Smith, first-round draft pick 4 years ago. In fact, first overall, leading scorer for Minnesota 3 of the last 4 years.
And a man who faced the Soviets and helped to beat them. Neil Broughton, a member of the U.S. Olympic team, wins the faceoff there as the puck's in the Soviet zone. Verbukin takes a bump into the boards. Passed it out for Shepelev. He can't make a play. Now they'll try this side. Number 8, Sergei Kapustin. Kapustin's long relay on the right side is to Shelimov inside the blue line. Down to the corner it slides. He's ridden off by Gordy Roberts. Kapustin against Cicerelli, gets it back to Pervukin. His shot, Matson blocks that. Now a holding call is the indication from referee Bob Myers, who is certainly not hesitant in calling penalties in the early minutes of this game. Shepelev, he's been in all the games in this series, in his 22nd national game for the Soviet Union. And now the Soviets take their first penalty as Kapustin steps into the penalty box.
That Shepelev, one of the stars in the Soviet triumph in the Canada Cup, had a hat trick. Outstanding young centerman. They use him even to kill penalties up front. Very good offensively.
For the first time tonight, we'll see the Minnesota power play. The penalty was for holding against Sergei Kapustin of the Soviet Union. As we approach the 7-minute mark of the first period, we are scoreless here at the Met Center. Brought in on the right side, down the boards, the pass for Brian Bellows. In behind, here is Young on the point, trapping it in there. Lets the shot go. Vidyaletdinov blocking it and bringing it back for the Soviet Union. Shepelev, trying to kill time, is checked at the blue line. Shalimov forechecks the puck all the way down to the Minnesota corner. So the Stars power play starting indeed slowly here. 45 seconds gone in the penalty to Kapustin. Hartsburg, having difficulty, gives the puck up briefly. Then the pass came out for Bellows. Back in the slot, they cannot get a good shot away. Smith got turned around. The Soviets roll it to the blue line, but Young keeps it in. Young throws again, across the face of the goal mouth. Shot by Tretiak. Rebound comes out, picked up by Shalimov. Close call for Tretiak right there from point-blank range. Soviets bring it back down. Shot rolling wide from Viktor Zlutkov. 35 seconds to go, and the Soviet penalty as Tim Young heads up a play. Long pass at the line. Over on the right boards, Broughton cruising in front of the goal. They can't get the puck to him. Cicerelli now has it to Broughton. Feeding it back here for Tom McCarthy. McCarthy swings in behind. Tried his pass out, being blocked there by Bykov. Minnesota player going down. Here's Sputt getting it over and keeping it in. Broughton in front for the rebound. Couldn't get his stick on a door, could McCarthy. Roberts now will close in and let his shot go. That's blocked by players in front of the net. Penalty is over. Play still inside the Soviet zone. The shot deflected off target. Flett for Cicerelli too far. Now it is Zlutkov in the center ice area. Feeding it back in for Zubkov. Soviet player falling as he hit the line. That was Sfortsov. But Minnesota certainly very dangerous on that last power play with a couple of real outstanding scoring opportunities. Now Broughton digs it ahead. As the Stars indicate, they'll change on the go. We approach the midway mark of period one. No score. Minnesota and the Soviet national team. Vasiliev to Starikov. Back off Roberts' stick for Vasiliev and down to the Minnesota corner. Maxwell leaving it for Roberts. Now around to Brad Maxwell again. Good forechecking by the Soviets. Cops it up. Vasiliev shot wide. The dangerous Vasiliev cruising in. Blasted one wide into the crowd. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Don Chevrier with Lou Nanne with you from the broadcast booth here in the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota, where the snow is piled up outside but melting gradually under fairly balmy temperatures today in the high 30s, low 40s in this area. More to come. Inside, it's certainly warm and comfortable here as the Stars battle the Soviets. Puck in the Soviet corner. Bringing it out now is Larionov, that dangerous center man to Timonev. Krutov on the left cruising in. Here's Kazatanov leaving it. Fetisov winding for the shot. He shot wide. Soviets shooting more frequently, but quite often inaccurately from those point positions. Fetisov being bumped in there now by Ferguson in the corner and tied up. Ferguson fed it around the left side. Now the pass back to him at center ice. Shoots it inside the Soviet zone. 9 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first period. They will tie it up there. It pops free. Getting to it first was Timonev. Timonev leaving it for Kazatanov. Now Fedosov. Ahead for Krutov. Couldn't get his stick on it. Ferguson taking his time will play it back as the Soviets do so often. This time the Stars wait to form their play. Have it inside the line. A Hartsburg shot blocked. Rebound. Steve Payne couldn't get a shot off the rebound. Goes down in the corner in a pile. They'll whistle it down with 9:04 to play in the period.
Well, there's Brian Bellows, the second draft pick overall this season. Gord Kluzak going first. Played junior in Kitchener last year. Much heralded, probably as much publicity for a youngster coming out of junior as there's ever been. He's got 13 goals this year for Minnesota. He's a big, strong wing. Likes to move the puck off the boards into the center. He could pass the puck through people as well as anybody on the club.
This NHL Soviet Series 83, protected by copyright and played under authority of the National Hockey League and the National Hockey League Players Association. Ready for the face-off now. Shepelev against Smith. And they wave Shepelev off. They'll bring in Shelimov instead, and he wins the draw. And it was not dropped fairly. They will have the face-off again. Remember, the 6-game NHL Soviet Series will conclude in the Philadelphia Spectrum on Thursday night. We'll be there for what should be an exciting wind-up. Teams even and wins at 2 apiece right now. Here is Kapustin behind his own goal, being bothered by Bellows to Pervukin. Pass comes out to the Minnesota zone. Rolling down. Matson gets there first. He'll play it off the boards for Payne and back down inside the Soviet blue line. 3 penalties in the game. No goals so far. 2 to the North Stars, 1 to the Soviet Union. Bilyaletdinov drops the pass for Kapustin. Skates around Roberts, then Roberts gets a piece of him, ties him up in the corner. Soviet player can't find the puck. Payne coming in to help out. Soviets maintain possession in there. The slap shot and the deflection just goes wide. Bilyaletdinov ripped one from the right point. Here's the backhand now, and Matson hangs on there. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
The Soviets with a good shot, a deflection just wide from the point after the puck got freed loose in the corner. Payne being taken out, no one picking up his wing. Puck coming back to the blue line, a shot, the deflection just missed the net.
From the face-off, Soviets get a chance again, but it is shot wide by number 18, Vazikov. Broughton in the corner, can't find it. Now it is picked up but not cleared by Young to the blue line, bumping for it there. Well, that is number 11, Tom McCarthy, and he forces the puck out to center ice. North Stars coming in. Dino Ciccarelli shoots, scores!
Well, that's the highest scoring line for Minnesota, and you see why right there. All 3 work very effectively. McCarthy, the heavy on the line, always takes the body. He frees the puck up for Broughton. Broughton with an exceptional move at the blue line. Has both defensemen frozen up near the line, slides it through. Watch this, he'll come across. Pull a Soviet move right there, frees both defensemen up at the blue line. Dino with the bullet. Ciccarelli's shot catching the inside of Tretiak's pad and giving the North Stars a lead.
So they finally break the streak of Tretiak, 12-18 into this period. Broughton and McCarthy getting the assists on the goal by Dino Ciccarelli, the North Stars' top goal scorer this year. 12-18's the time. Minnesota with the lead and the puck right now, which is shot to Starikov outside the Minnesota blue line. Zubkov starting a play. Blaikoff inside the blue line, shooting. Hudson short side, good save, stop that. Craig Hartsburg around the board, pushing it ahead, pass Zubkov into center ice. Kozhevenikov in his first shift tonight on the ice for the Soviets. He's always dangerous. Lead pass for him rolls through to Priest, and Priest plays it off the boards on the far side for Mike Eves. 6 minutes and 45 seconds to play. Minnesota on Ciccarelli's goal with a 1-0 lead. Worth noting that the 2 games the NHL teams have won, they have scored the first goal.
That's right, Don. The Soviets played differently coming from behind.
Priest ahead for Eves. Had to leave it there. Couldn't find the puck in behind him. Smith or McCannon forechecking in front of Fedosov. Timonev setting up Larionov. Look out! Great stop by Matson.
What a save by Marcus Matson, left all alone.
The save of the night. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment. Six minutes and 14 seconds left in period one. There is the score, 1-0 Minnesota. And you just saw the save of the night by Marcus Matson off Larionov, point blank alone in on him to hold this 1-0 North Star advantage. Bandit starts up slowly, feeding Young. Center ice. Young trying to cut in, forced off into the board. Still stays on top of the puck, battling for it. Comes to Fedosov. He goes down in the pile. Soviets with the dangerous Larionov again. Overskated by Timonev at the blue line. North Stars applying pressure. The backhand shot goes wide. Douglas gets it around to the far side. Giles digging it out. Krutov on his opposite wing. Over on the far boards. Larionov makes a good move. Can't get the shot away. Puck still loose in there. Myers will call a penalty for holding.
Myers going to call the North Stars for holding there as the Russians trying to get the puck right back into the middle area where they usually do. As we look at Kazatonov, a real big strong defenseman, broke that puck out of the zone real well.
Tim Young gets the penalty for Minnesota for a holding with 5:21 left in the period. Burton Cummings, Milton Berle, Phyllis Diller, just three of the super guests. But Alan Thicke's Fast Company returns on CTV Friday. Be sure to join us.
There's Tim Young pulling down the Soviet player right there. And this is something you don't like to see happen. One of your penalty killers taking a penalty because it makes you a little weaker on that unit.
Indeed. Sergei Shepelev on the draw against Eves. Eves shooting the puck over on the boards, held in by the Soviets. Bilyaletdinov keeping it in. Hartsburg got a stick on it. Back in Soviet control. Bilyaletdinov shot deflected high off the glass. Rebound came off the mesh. Soviet players swarming all around that net. But Matson has been very tough in this first period. Shepelev forced back by number 25, McAdam, the veteran. They bump in there. Giles comes in to help, pushing the Soviet player Kapustinov. Play goes right on. Puck comes loose. Back to Bilyaletdinov. Keeping it alive for the Soviet Union. Shepelev knocked down in front of the goal. Another Minnesota penalty coming up, and down goes Matson. But the Soviet player was hammered down in front of the goal, and Myers has tagged the North Stars with their fourth penalty of the period.
And this is a time you don't want to take a penalty against the Russians, giving them a 5-on-3. Craig Hartsburg very upset in front of the net. He comes across and cross-checks the Soviets setting up in front of the net. That penalty called. It was a delayed penalty. The Soviets took the shot. When Minnesota finally played the puck, Hartsburg was whistled off.
For cross-checking, the Soviets, barring another event in the next minute and 19 seconds, will have a two-man advantage. 4:40 to play in the first period. Dino Ciccarelli has given Minnesota a 1-0 lead from McCarthy and Broughton at 12:18 to break the scoreless string of goaltender Tretiak.
You see Giles out there talking to referee Bob Myers, undoubtedly trying to get a rest for a fellow like Mike Eves, who had been killing part of the penalty himself. You've got 5 defensemen's rest. You've got to make sure the defensemen get a little rest. Here's Giles and Roberts. Giles and Hartsburg were just killing the penalty, so they're trying to get a little rest. Giles going back on now as we look at Coach Glenn Sonmore looking down, seeing who he's going to put out next.
Krutov against Eves. Eves wins it for Giles, being hounded there by Larionov. Roberts digs it out and shoots it down the ice. Fedosov, a Soviet captain. Long pass for Krutov inside the line. Beautiful stick check, a sweep check from behind by a falling Gordy Roberts. Soviets with a two-man advantage. Kazatonov, Fedosov, Kazatonov shooting. Blasted wide. The defenseman Fedosov down the board. Now takes it back to the point and over to Kazatonov. Now Fedosov. Maxwell got turned around. They play catch out there. Kazatanov, booming one, deflected up into the crowd. 5 rolls high. 28 seconds left in the first Minnesota penalty.
There's a tired Marcus Matson getting tested. Brad Maxwell going over to give him a rest. One thing you want to notice on the Soviets on this 5-on-3, Larionov out in the middle, always sets up behind the high fella of the North Stars so that he runs a little interference, allowing the Soviets to pass the puck across and the defenseman to shoot off the pass. They run just a little pick, allowing the Soviet point men to be free if they want to walk in or shoot. Tikhonov a little upset. He was trying to change lines there. Referee Bob Myers wouldn't let him. Tikhonov just checking how much time left in the penalties.
Mind you, the one he's got on isn't bad. It's their #1 productive unit. Krutov takes the face-off, trying to get the puck across to Larionov. Can't do it, but Fedosov has it over to Kazatanov. They've switched spots now on this point. Here's Kazatanov. Being watched by Maxwell. Puts it off the goalpost. Rebound. They missed it just across the crease. Great scoring chance there for the Soviet Union. Timonev shot through a maze of players, hops off the board. Soviets keep the pressure on. Kazatanov playing 5 against 3 in there. The shot caught by Matson, who's worked very hard, and the whistle sounded just as the first penalized player, Young, came back on the ice.
The way the Soviets were passing the puck back and forth up high, that's when the North Stars bring 2 people out up high, allowing 3 Soviets back near the net with 1 defenseman because they weren't using those men. That shot slipped through. The Soviet forward let it go, hit the pipe, and the other fellow right in the doorstep missed it. But the Soviets, instead of moving that puck down low, which they finally did and almost scored, kept it back and forth up high, and they really should have adjusted earlier on that play.
The North Stars not out of danger yet. Still 35 seconds to go in Hartsburg's penalty, but they ice it nicely there. Kazatanov, this unit, has been on for the entire power play. Young had good penalty killer, the first man to go to the box, working for the North Stars now with 16 seconds remaining in Hartsburg's penalty. Soviets not very proficient on the power play, just 4 scoring chances in the entire series. Larionov now works it out to Kazatanov. Hitting the Minnesota blue line. Back on the ice comes Hartsburg. The Stars have killed off those double minors, and they get a round of applause here from the partisan crowd of the Met Center in Bloomington. Minnesota still with a 1-goal lead. 2 minutes and 25 seconds to play in the first period. Or Broughton off his leg into the Soviet corner. Trying to trap it in there for a face-off. Lost possession. Cicerelli can't contain it. Now Fedosov still on that long shift for he and Kazatanov. His defenseman must be tiring now. Cicerelli shoots wide of Tretiak in goal. Puck off the boards all the way back to Mandich at center ice. Hartsburg shooting it back in. Fedosov across the ice, now up to Vasilyev with Bykov. Left it there at the Minnesota blue line, and it shot into the crowd. 1:45 to play in the period.
Well, the North Stars had to withstand some pressure from the Soviets, especially in that power play. And this one fella right here, Cicerelli's the one that put the North Stars ahead 1-0. The year he was in junior, the year before he was drafted, Bobby Smith led all scores. Gretzky was second, Cicerelli third. Cicerelli was first with 72 goals, Gretzky second on the goal scoring.
Zubkov. Vasilyev in center ice. Blocked at the Minnesota blue line. Soviets being cut off at that line more frequently now by the Minnesota defenders. Maxwell with a corner around for Roberts. Takes a funny bounce, and Smith comes up with it. Right wing relay. Bellows booms one. Tretiak blocks that. Big rebound comes out to Vasilyev of the Soviet Union. Now this is Bykov. Kozhevenikov. Vasilyev shot, and he drills it wide. A minute to play in the first period. Minnesota with a 1-goal lead. Steve Payne getting it back at the blue line with Bellows, drops it to him. Lets the pass go through. Smith couldn't get his stick on it. Starikov comes up with it for the Soviet Union ahead to Vasilyev. Bellows right back inside that blue line off Starakov's leg. 35 seconds to play in the first period now. Giles getting it out over the line. Eves moving in for it. Across to McAdam. In they go. Rolling loose puck after a fine save by Tretiak. Delayed penalty indicated now by referee Myers.
Well, a hooking penalty on the Soviets will give the North Stars a power play advantage. McAdam with an outstanding chance. Breaking in, fine shot. Big save by Tretiak. Here's a play. Actually, that's Ronnie Fries breaking in. A fine play for McAdam. McAdam switched over to the right side in that line. Fries breaking in with a good slap shot. Ronnie Fries, his first year in the National Hockey League, out of Windsor, Ontario, going in for a fine shot on Tretiak. As the Soviets right now going over to the bench, checking out who's going to be killing the penalties, taking a little time. And you see Eves breaking for the loose puck, but being held right there and brought down with 19 seconds to go in the period. The North Stars go into power play.
This is the second Soviet penalty of the game. The North Stars have certainly had more problems with penalties. They've been assessed 4 of them to this point. Shots on goal, the Soviets have outshot the North Stars 8-7 with 19 seconds to play. And don't forget the wind-up game Thursday night in the Philadelphia Spectrum, 7:30 Eastern Time. We'll have it for you right here.
Well, here's the shot, and as you see, Eves breaking in. He's actually pulled down by Varnikov, number 10, and they got Babinoff killing off the penalty, or sitting out the penalty.
Myers has penalized the wrong man. No matter. Soviets short a man. But now, as the Stars have 12 seconds left here in the period. Roberts moves it all. Great chance right there to the side of the goal. And Broughton just failed to put it in. Soviets take the pressure off now. Down into the Minnesota zone as the siren ends the first period, with Minnesota still having a minute 41 of second period power play time left to them when play resumed. But they got the only goal from Dino Ciccarelli. The setup by Broughton and McCarthy at 12:18 as the Soviets outshot the North Stars 8-7 in that opening period. Minnesota almost getting a 2-goal lead. Broughton trying to redirect it. Couldn't get enough of it to make it a 2-0 lead for Minnesota just at the end of that first period. So the NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment. Ron Chevrier with Lou Nanne. That's the story so far. 8-7 Soviets. The goal by Ciccarelli. If you had a pool on when Tretiak would give one up. It was 164 minutes and 10 seconds of scoreless hockey. And to begin this period, Babinoff is in the penalty box with a minute 37 seconds left in the Minnesota North Stars power play. Kazatanov shooting it down behind an outstanding Minnesota goaltender, Marcus Matson. Neil Broughton, who came very close to making it 2-0 in the waning seconds of period 1, drives it down now to the Soviet zone. Vyacheslav Fetisov, the Soviet captain, across to Kazatanov. McCarthy got there first, held in by the Stars. Back to Roberts now, left point. Roberts, weak shot. Picked up easily by the Soviets, and back they come on the right side. Krutov will swing around from left to right wing as they crisscross. Has an offside call of the Minnesota blue line.
And that was a good play by Gordie Roberts as Willie Plutt was the first man coming back, but he was even caught deep. It was a 3-on-2. Roberts making a play at the blue line. One thing about Tikhonov, when he was watching the football game last night, he assessed the game very quickly. He says it's all big men up front with little rabbits in behind, and the big men have to clear the way for the little men to run.
I'll tell you what, the big men and the rabbits were hitting last night, and he was edging closer and closer to the sidelines. He almost put on Tom Landry's hat and took over the Cowboys. Really got involved in a super football game last night here in the Dome. 51 seconds left in Babinoff's penalty. Soviets, though, with the play in the Minnesota zone, shoot it up in among the spectators.
You're right, Don. He went right over to the bench of Dallas. Ron Hill was sitting there, and he looked at him and he said, "You must be very fast because you're not nearly as big as the other people." And Ron Hill says, "Who are you?" And he's a Soviet hockey coach. And Hill said, "Welcome to America."
Larionov on the draw for the Soviets. Krutov into the corner, taken down by Brian Bellows. No penalty call. Got his stick jammed in there as the Stars bring it out now. 33 seconds on the power play remaining. Bobby Smith swings inside the line past Kazatonov, but again it is shot promptly back out. Marcus Mattsson way out of his goal. Still inside as the Stars do not have a good power play going now. Soviets drive it down the ice. 11 seconds remaining in the Soviet penalty. Chance for the Soviets, one-on-one. Shalimov could not get a shot. Hartsburg guarding him. Soviet players back on. The team's at full strength now. Payne brought it out. Fed Smith at the blue line. Smith rolling it around in behind the goal. Then Bellows makes a check. Hard drive by Payne. Might have caught the Soviet goalpost and bounced in behind. Vidyaletdinov. Payne falling in the corner. Soviets coming up with it now. On the right side, Shalimov leads it to the blue line for Shepelev. Shalimov overskated the pass back. Now Payne, rink wide. That's broken up by Sergei Kapustin. Oh, and almost a chance there. And the long pass for Shalimov. They'll call it back over two lines. This NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Remember, a win here tonight by the North Stars would assure the National Hockey League teams of at least a tie in this six-game series as they head for home, the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and the concluding game on Thursday night. But we've got a long way to go here this evening at the Met Center. Stars, Priest in the corner, losing it there. Soviets very adept at getting it out smartly from their own zone tonight, and do once again off Mattsson's stick into the corner. Tried that Minnesota goal as they bump for it. Giles now getting some help, falling on the play. Soviets try to work it up the boards. It is held in there briefly. Then the Stars have it out at center ice. McAdam couldn't control it. They played 3 minutes here in this third period. Teams even in shots on goal. 8-8 right now. Chance for the Soviets swinging in. Pass in front was blocked. Vasiliev digs it back. Shot by Zlutkov. That is stopped. Here is Starikov deflected off the post. Penalty being called here. It'll go against Minnesota. Delayed call. Cross-checking, so the Stars will face the Soviet power play once again. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
You'll see Kozhenikov in front of the net right there, and now you're going to see Maxwell come across and give him a cross-check. He goes down. Penalty to Maxwell for cross-checking. Soviets on the power play again.
That is the 5th Minnesota penalty of this game, and they've gotten away with them so far, but it can't go on forever, you feel. Mattson leaving it for Hartsburg. Snaps it off the boards. Not held in. It popped out into the white zone over the blue line. The face-off will come there.
Well, Fedosov down on his knees trying to hide it and keep it in. But referee or linesman Bob Luther right on the line as we look at Kurt Giles checking the clock. Saw it was offside. One statistic for the North Stars when they're on the power play, Don. A glaring one, a bad one. They lead the league in giving up power play goals against 11. So the Soviets could be very dangerous there if Minnesota's on the power play.
Soviets with 4 power play goals now in 25 opportunities in this series. That's not a high batting average. Three and a half minutes into the second period. 1-0 for the Minnesota North Stars. Bruta. Fedosov. Stars break it up there with number 21 Ferguson with it, trying to kill this Minnesota penalty. Larionov inside the blue line, being forced over by Young across to Kazatonov. His shot blocked by the defense in front. Mandic had it bounce off him off of the board. Soviets keeping it in. Wide angle shot. Good catch by Mattson. Good quick reflexes with the glove hand of Marcus Mattson.
That was a good catch because that one was labeled for the upper corner. A fine shot. The Soviets using the pick out front. Allowed that defenseman to move in, and he took a real good shot. There's Krutov, number 9. What a dangerous man this fella is. He's always one of their leading scorers. Very quick, very deceptive.
Top scorer so far, 5 points in the 4 games and change at this point. And there's Mattson very quickly picking that out of thin air. 1:12 remaining in the Minnesota penalty. Soviet power play goes to work very patiently, very deliberately, but a mistake made there with the captain Fedosov. And it's shot by Eves back to the Soviet blue line. Fedosov dropping it back. Rutov swings in with it. Right in front. Couldn't get the shot away. Waited a bit too long to get a perfect opportunity, and it's cleared by the North Star. Here's a chance for Eves. Eves taken down. Rolling puck. Rebound. McAdams shot. Blocked in front. And Kazatonov comes up with it. Almost 2-0 with Minnesota shorthanded. Kazatonov taken down. Minnesota clearing it with 25 seconds left in Maxwell's penalty. But a close call as the Soviets got careless in their own zone. Long lead pass for Kapustin. He is bumped on the boards, and Young backhands it down the ice. 10 seconds remaining in the penalty. Over on the right board. Shalimov left it there for Kapustin. The penalty is over. 5 times tonight, Minnesota has escaped without getting burned with the Soviet power play. Tim Young chasing it down to the corner. Lost his balance against Vidyaletdinov. Pervukin around for Kapustin. He can't clear it out of there. Right in front. Oh, Young couldn't get enough on it. Just shot wide. And tipped back to center ice. The Stars with a couple of great scoring chances the last minute or so. Shalimov leads it at center ice. Now takes it across the blue line for Shepelev. Shepelev gets turned around by Hartsburg and ridden off the play. Tim Young coming up with it. Young is everywhere in this shift. For Shepelev, Shalimov, and there in time was number 11, Tom McCarthy. Stars getting tired. They'll head to the bench and change on the go, as some of the Soviets do now. Icing is called against Minnesota.
You'll see the replay right here as we're trying to kill the penalty off, and then the shot in front. Tim Young was just coming by, almost deflected it right after the power play was over. Tim Young just missing that open side.
The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Welcome back to the Met Center. Don Chevrier and Lou Nanne with you. 1-0 North Stars. Cicerelli's goal, 12-18 the first period, the only scoring so far. 5 penalties have been killed off by Minnesota. McCarthy now at center ice, one-on-one. Bumped hard as he tried to get around a Soviet defender and went flying. Now Barnikov has trouble clearing. Stars keeping it in. Around the left side, it is tipped ahead by Skvortsov. Skvortsov inside the line, couldn't get his stick on it. Now Vozakov shoots it, and the Soviets have tied it up. From the left face-off circle past Marcus Matson, who's played his heart out tonight. They finally beat him.
Well, a little deflection right in front of the net. The shot from way out, but the deflection was what beat Matson. He just allowed that puck to go through his legs. He's playing the shot. You'll see Marcus standing up right here, and then the deflection in front. And Marcus goes down to get it, goes right through his legs. The Soviets tied up 1-1. Right in front of the net, the Soviets setting up. I think it was Schwarzkopf setting up, getting a piece of it, and deflecting it by.
Goal coming at the 4:35 mark. Ties it up. Soviets won and Minnesota won. Soviets bring it right back to the blue line again. Bobby Smith now trying to find someone to feed in center ice. Gets it ahead for his defenseman Hartsburg. Leaves it there for Payne. Payne shot. Gloved by Tretiak. Couldn't hang on to it. Back it comes all the way to center ice. Skvortsov did get the goal for the Soviet Union to tie this game. Payne ahead for Smith. Babinov and Zlutkov got the assists at 6:35 on that Soviet tying goal. Play whistled down on the mesh beside Matson, and they will have a face-off in the Minnesota zone.
The North Stars have to watch right at their blue line. They're allowing the Russians now to get inside their blue line a little bit and use a little jump pass, which has proved effective. Right here, you'll see the tip-in. Schwarzkopf coming across. He just gets his stick on off Marcus's left leg in the net. Even though Schwarzkopf's being harassed by Gordy Roberts, they seem to get that stick down and get a piece of that puck and change the direction.
For the Minnesota North Stars, a break to the center area, shot down the left corner. Here is Priest. For McAdam. Fetisov takes over. Gets it up for Timonev, and it hops it among the spectators. 12:18 to play in this period. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. This NHL Soviet Series 83 is a special presentation of CTV Sports in association with TV Labatt. The program is copyright and strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition of this telecast without the express written permission of the CTV Television Network and TV Labatt is strictly prohibited. A 1-1 tie here at the Met Center. Game 5 of the NHL Soviet Series. Soviets circling now in their own zone, trying to form a play-up. Stars do some forechecking, force them back. Kazatanov having a tough time in behind his own goal. Now Fetisov is bumped hard in there by Priest. And the Soviets finally start a play up the left side. Broken up by Hartsburg, or Giles. Giles could not advance the puck. It is whistled down to the linesman right there at the Minnesota blue line for a face-off. 11:42 left. There's Gordy Roberts, defenseman in his 5th season in the National Hockey League.
And he was named Team USA's best player last year in Helsinki, Finland, in the World Tournaments. This season, he's probably been the most consistent Minnesota North Star defenseman, having by far his finest professional season. Last year, he was named Minnesota's most improved player. This year, he's playing even better.
11 minutes and 40 seconds of second period playing time remain, and look out, a chance for the Soviets right here on Matson. He made the save. The Soviet player, Shepelev, stole the puck right there and almost made it 2-1. Penalty being called against Kapustin. He took down Hartsburg from behind, and the Minnesota North Stars will get their power play to go to work in just a moment. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Sergei Kapustin caught for hooking Hartsburg at the 8:39 mark. And so the faceoff coming outside the zone. Here it is. Down he went. Caught him from behind. Minnesota will have the power play on the ice.
This line would like to work the puck down close with Groton and Cicerelli around the net, Plett screening in front.
Penalties all going Minnesota's way in the first period. They settled down tremendously in that regard now. I'm sure Glenn Sonmore had a lot to say about taking unnecessary penalties in between periods when he talked to them.
I'm sure
Roberts
he did,
chops it out to center ice for Broughton. Broughton on the relay by Plett, former Calgary Flame. Drives it in behind. Stars pressing now to get the play going in the Soviet zone. Broughton right out in front for Plett. Couldn't get the shot away. Now Roberts controls the bouncing puck momentarily and lost out at center. Roberts across to Plett. Trying to feed Broughton with it. We'll drag it down the boards now. Shepelev clears for the Soviets. 1:15 remaining in the Kapustin penalty. Roberts swings away from Shalimov and sends Bobby Smith to center ice. With Plett and Payne. In they go. Soviet defender falling in the corner. Bringing it around in behind the goal. Waiting to make that play back to the point. They do to Roberts, getting pressure now. Soviet player Shalimov watching very carefully, getting as close as he can. They dig it across to the far side. The slap shot. Loose puck in front. Bouncing around. Tretiak. It goes in. It's 2-1 Minnesota. Wait a minute. No goal. They waved that the play had been whistled down. The red light went on. But the linesman and the referee Myers say it is no goal.
Well, Tretiak made the save. He couldn't find the puck. Let's see if he can handle it. Here's a shot from the point. A good hard shot from McCarthy. Tretiak making a save. The puck is lost in Tretiak somewhere. You saw it drop there and Plett knocking it in. But the whistle had sounded. Bob Myers blowing the whistle when he lost sight of the puck, which is the correct thing to do. And so there's no goal. The game is still tied 1-1. You see McCarthy shot. You see Plett screening in front. That's what he does so well. Tretiak losing the puck. It drops, falls in the net, but the whistle had sounded.
Still a 1-all hockey game. Close call there for the Soviets. 42 seconds left in their penalty to Kapustin. Stars backing up to form up the power play, and away they come now at the blue line. But that is broken up by Timonev. Soviets forechecking well. Young drops it to a Soviet defender. 20 seconds left down the penalty. Schwartzov skating into the corner. Hartsburg checking him. Hartsburg coming up with the puck as Schwartzov lost his stick. 10 seconds to go on the power play. Payne. Young. And broken up by Babinov, but failed to clear. Now it's over the blue line. A Soviet player, Kapustin, back on the ice. The teams are at full strength. 9 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the second period. Still a 1-1 tie. Chance for the Soviets. Down goes the Soviet player. There'll be a penalty against Minnesota. So the Soviet power play will come on the ice. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Minnesota's sixth penalty of the night. Hartsburg for holding at 10:54. Took the Soviet player down, going right in, put a fine tackle on him.
Well, Zhukov breaking in all alone. Hartsburg definitely pulling him down. The Soviets on the power play again.
Roberts on the faceoff, being watched by Timonev. Gets it up the left boards. Eves digs it ahead to the Soviet zone. Fedosov quickly back on top of the play. Taken down. Here's a chance for Eves. Shot it wide. Shorthand of the Stars are with Hartsburg in the penalty box, his second penalty of the night. Timonev, the top Soviet line, is on the ice now. Larionov with it. Krutov right in front of the goal. Back it comes to Kazatanov. Booms the slap shot wide. Roberts goes in behind for it. Lost his stick. Soviet player taken down in front, and it's shot down the ice finally by the Minnesota North Stars. Al McAdam. 1:10 left in Minnesota's penalty. Larionov drops it back. Timonev, Kazatanov, Fedosov, Kazatanov. Fakes the shot, makes the pass, the backhand drive just wide from Larionov. Soviets pressing to take the lead. It's tied 1-1. Timonev gets it again, top of the circle, passing it back. Kazatanov fakes the slap shot, drops to Fedosov. Almost checked out over the blue line there. Krutov had his drive blocked. Roberts battling for it in the corner. Digs it out, but still inside that blue line. 27 seconds of the penalty remaining. The long shot again goes wide. Many Soviet attempts off the mark on this power play. Teams even in shots at 13-13. Here's Krutov cruising in front. Krutov waiting, scores! Krutov took his time and made it pay off. The Soviets have taken a lead of 2-1.
Well, Krutov with plenty of time coming out of the corner where Roberts was taken down by a Soviet offensive man right in the corner. You'll see Krutov walking out all alone, walking to the front. He's got everybody going down in front, holds it long enough. Eves in the net trying to block it, but he puts it up and over everyone. Here he is, a fine play going over to his forehand, and this is why it's good when you're playing your off wing. You come across your forehand, you look at him putting it up and over. Well, that's Gordy Roberts back in the net, who bounced back, tried to save it, but a little too late.
So the Soviets have the lead for the first time tonight at 2-1. Krutov's goal at the 12:40 mark of the second period. Broughton for the North Stars, ahead at center ice. For Cicerelli, he's bumped hard, taken down to the blue line. Dykov, long lead pass coming out to the Minnesota blue line. Vasiliev couldn't make a play. Now McCarthy with it, with Cicerelli and Broughton inside the line. McCarthy falls, puck slides free. Giles shot it wide, rebound past Broughton. Now trying to hold it in is Mandich. And the Soviets get it back to center ice. Timonev and Fedosov got the assists on Krutov's goal at 12:40. Soviets right back in. Falling on the play, the Soviet player actually was taken down by the defender right in front of the goal. That's Kozhevenikov. Hard body check thrown by the Soviet Zubkov. He leveled Broughton there at the blue line. Kozhevenikov inside the line. Kozhevenikov waits to make his play. Stick handles right in, and he's taken down. No penalty on the play. Defending was Mandich. McCarthy takes it inside the line for Cicerelli, and down to the corner for McCarthy. Trying to pass in front for Bobby Smith. Can't get it to him. 6 minutes to play in period number 2. Soviets leading 2-1. Vladimir Zubkov. They work the left side, the center ice area. Right across the blue line. Shalimov failed to hold it there. Shot down the ice by Minnesota. Vidyaletdinov comes back to pick it off, but did not go far enough to be called for icing. Soviets with the only 2 goals of this period. Body check by Hartsburg in the corner. Digs it free for a moment for Brian Bellow. Now Roberts runs into Shalimov in behind. Kane rolls it up the boards, kept in by Vidyaletdinov and blocked by Matson. Up and among the spectators. 5:12 to play in the period.
All the Soviets getting the North Stars running around a bit there. They were putting pressure on the North Stars, getting everybody caught a little too deep. As you see Glenn getting a little upset with the referee, I believe, right there. But here's Cicerelli taking the check. Did he ever get hit? Broughton got hit with a harder one by Zubkov coming across the middle. Both forwards taking some good checks. Some hard body checking going out there right now. The game getting a little rough as we have a pane of glass. It was just as lodged in the corner. Here's another save. We'll see Matson standing up, standing his ground. A good move by the Soviet, but he's pulling right down by Giles. Matson making a leg save. McCarthy back to hold out, and he'll get the puck up and out of danger. You know, one thing the Soviets are doing now when they're on a power play, they're playing a man all the way up to the North Star blue line, trying to release the pressure the North Stars are putting on down in the Soviet zone, holding the defenseman back, giving them a little more room to operate so they can get up ice quicker.
Lou, the Soviets, who have outshot the NHL opposition in each of the games so far, have outshot Minnesota 15-13 at this stage. 5 minutes to play in the second period. They lead 2-1. Eaves battled that puck down. It is kept in, but shot up into the crowd by Ron Priest.
Well, that's a testament to 2 things. One, that they are controlling the puck a great deal. Secondly, they do shoot a lot more than they used to. Even in the past, when they controlled the puck a lot, they never took as many shots as they take now. Now they shoot from a lot farther out and from worse angles than they had before.
Shot 35 against Edmonton, 37 against Quebec and Montreal, and 29 against Calgary. And many more have gone wide. They don't count. Here is Priest holding it in at the blue line, driving it down for Eaves. Eaves is taken down. There'll be a Soviet penalty. Great chance. Priest scores. It's 2-2.
What a play by Plett and Friest. Friest went in the corner. Friest made the play initially at his blue line. He faked the shot, got it in the corner to Eaves, who gets pulled down behind the net right here, but he deflects the puck back. Plett alertly comes behind, centers it quickly to Friest, moving in from the point, and he beats Tretiak to tie this game up. Ron Priest, one of the more physical players on the North Stars, noted more for his body checking and scoring, but a complete hockey player. He's come a long way in 4 years, really worked hard at his game. Fine youngster.
So Ron Priest gets the second Minnesota goal to tie this game. Back into the Soviet zone again. It is icing called against the Minnesota North Stars.
Well, one thing we haven't seen too many of done were icings tonight. An icing at this stage you don't like to take. You've just scored a goal. Don't give the Soviets a chance to win a draw, get a good shot on net. You don't want to allow the Soviets any opportunity to score right after you've scored. You'll see Plett centering that puck to Friest. Friest yelling, moving in from the point, and beating Tretiak, tying this game up.
Plett and Eaves get the assists on Friest's goal at 15-24. Soviets pressing now, however. Here's Fedosov having the puck taken away from him. Douglas for the North Stars, down the left board. Leaving it for Ferguson. Ferguson shooting, that is blocked. Minnesota gaining momentum now with that equalizing goal late in this period. 4 minutes to play in the second period. It's 2-2. Ferguson gets it across the ice. Mandich up the board. Not out. Timonev blasts a shot. He scores. The Soviets regain the lead.
Well, that's what happened when you don't get the puck out and you've got a lot of opportunities. Soviets very alertly picking that puck up as it was trying to get thrown out of the zone. Timonev moving to the center, getting a real fine slap shot right up past Matson in the upper corner.
One more look at it. Boom, gone. 3-2 Soviets. Goal coming at 16:07 of the second period, scored by Timyanev. So quickly the Soviets are back on top, and out they come to center ice. Bykov, stick checked at the blue line, lost possession there. Gordy Roberts over to Maxwell with Broughton inside the Soviet line. They go 3.5 minutes in the penalty, or the period remaining. Kazatonov got the assist from Timonev at 16:07. Here's Cicerelli. It was blocked by the Soviet defender. And out down the right side comes Kozhevenikov. Kozhevenikov swings in front and shot wide. Vasilyev can't keep it in. Long pass for Broughton. Broughton digs it back into the slot. The shot, oh, just wide by Tom McCarthy. Back and forth they go. You get the feeling this could be a very high-scoring game. Vasilyev makes the play right in front, and Kozhevenikov got taken down. They score from a bad angle with the open net. It is 4-2 for the Soviets.
Well, the Soviets come down. They had a 2-on-1 play. They didn't score initially. Matson got caught out of the net. Roberts trying to get up alertly to get the puck, but he was down flat. You'll see the passing play right here. Matson coming across, making a save. Now he's knocked out of the net. Roberts trying to get to it, doesn't get to it. No one in the net. The Soviets take a 4-2 lead.
Starikov shot from an extremely bad angle and nonetheless popped it in. Kozhevenikov with a big opportunity there, and then way over almost on the line. He found the range. It is now 4-2 for the Soviets. 2 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the second period. Bilyaletdinov gets it in behind his own goal. Pervukin getting it ahead to Shalimov. Kapustin rolls it down the right board. Hartsburg. Kozhevenikov and Vasilyev got assists on that fourth Soviet goal at 17:11. So they've struck twice quickly here to regain the lead. Shepelev's shot is blocked to the corner. Shalimov can't get a stick on it. Now Bobby Smith with Payne gives the puck to Payne. Hits the Soviet blue line, drops it in there. Long relay for Smith. They can't get it to him. Soviets trying to widen their lead further with Shepelev and Shalimov. Hartsburg being checked by Shalimov. Payne being watched by Shalimov, who seems to be everywhere. Now Hartsburg brings it inside the Soviet blue line. Hartsburg is set off to the right side for Payne out in front. Could not get a shot away. Back come the Soviets. 2-on-2. Drop pass. Here's the shot. That's from the stick of Zlutkov and wide. 1:15 to go in the period now. They send in McAdam quickly. Dropping it back for Roberts. Oh, just wide. Maxwell fakes the shot. Gets around Varlikov, and the relay just going wide by Ron Priest. Stars pressing for a third goal now. Down by 2. 1 minute to play in the second period. Roberts fails to hold it in. Soviets break 2-on-1. Varlikov coming in. Passing back in the slot. The shot as he was falling by number 26. Sportsov just rolled wide. Yuri Vozakov. Ahead for Varnikov. With Timonev. Shooting it into the Minnesota zone. Mike Eaves behind his own goal for the North Stars. Leaves it there for Roberts. Roberts having trouble getting it out. Finally, it hops off free stick into the center ice area. 20 seconds to play in the second period. Left there for Krutov. Krutov scores. He sailed right in. It's 5-2 for the Soviet Union.
Well, Krutov moving in over the blue line. 2 people having a crack at him. He finally was able to slip that puck through. It looks right here like he's lost that puck momentarily. He's got it on his backhand, and as he's being checked, he just gets a backhand in the net. 9 seconds ago to put the Soviets up 5-2.
Krutov's second goal, though, and he just sailed right through the 2 defense players. Giles and Roberts split them and popped it in behind Matson. He has 4 goals in the series now. He's the leading Soviet scorer in this NHL-Soviet confrontation. Just 2 seconds left now in behind the Soviet goal, and that will be all. The Soviets have broken out after Minnesota took that lead of 1-0 It's been mostly the Soviet Union ever since then, as they have scored all their goals, 5 of them here in the second period, and lead the Minnesota North Stars by a score of 5-2. Another example of how quickly the Soviet Union national team can strike and make you look bad, as they pulled away from the Montreal Canadiens to break up a 1-0 game on New Year's Eve, getting 4 in the final period, winning that one 5-0. Second period over then. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in just a moment. Soviets getting all 5 of their goals in the second period, pulling away to a 5-2 lead over the Minnesota North Stars, who have made a change in goal now for this third period. 5'8" Don Beaupre, who said a couple of months ago, when asked about his size, he said, "Look, I'm here to stop the puck, not beat it up. I'll just stop it, and no physical abuse on the puck, thank you. I'm just big enough to play this game." He is now, like Lemelin was in the third period, coming in cold, Lou.
That's right. Actually, the battle plan going into the game was, if there was more than a 2-goal difference in the Soviet favor, to replace Matson with Beaupre, because oftentimes a team, when you change goaltenders, it gives your team a lift and also gives Beaupre some work. Had the game stayed at 2-2, 3-2, Glenn would have stayed with Matson. Tretiak getting a little consultation from Fedosov and Larionov.
He has given up 2 goals, and the only 2 on this tour, and the first 2, of course, since the '81 Canada Cup final. The Soviets have outshot the North Stars 20-15. Glenn Sonmore has worked with his team between periods. They know they've got an uphill battle against the Soviets, and a gargantuan task it is. When the big red machine gets rolling, they're mighty hard to stop, as both the Montreal Canadiens and Quebec Nordiques found out last week. Third period action is underway. North Stars Broughton gets a chance inside the line. Fedosov rides him off smartly. Still there, though, for McCarthy into the corner. Ciccarelli is dumped. There will be a Soviet penalty, as Ciccarelli was taken down and is slow getting up.
Well, Ciccarelli moving to the corner. The moment he saw McCarthy with the puck, he moved towards the corner. Kazatonov just took him down. He got a tripping penalty as he was moving towards the puck. Actually, Kazatonov might not even have seen him. It could have been accidental, but he definitely took him down. The penalty's called. And Dino went in a little hard at that time.
Penalty at the 12-second mark of this final period for tripping to Kazatonov. So the North Stars get their power play into action again. I want to remind you, the Labatt's Player of the Game Awards will go to the outstanding players in each team, as chosen by our telecast team. They will each receive a Panasonic Wave mini stereo cassette player. McCarthy, cross on the left side. Roberts drills it in front, but couldn't get a shot away. The Soviet player clears it out to center ice. Roberts. Lou Nanne, I thought, made a good point late in that second period when he felt his defensemen were getting tired, and it certainly was indicated by the late burst of scoring by the Soviets. Fedosov clears it down the ice.
Dino not expecting that pass. You've always got to be ready. Could have been home free, and the pass from Roberts there.
Shot down for Plenty in the corner. Big bounce. He could not give the shot away. It was covered very well in there. McCarthy on the board. Plays it in behind again for Broughton. Broughton waits to make his play, does to McCarthy. He shoots. Blocked by the defense player Fedosov. Broughton again trying to dig it out into the slot. Ciccarelli is taken down. No penalty called there. Fans calling for one. It's shot down the ice for the Soviet Union. Soviets changing on the go as the Stars Hartsburg brings it in. Still has it inside the line. Tried to flip it across for Payne. Couldn't get it to him. Soviets clear to center. 36 seconds left now in the Soviet penalty. Bobby Smith. Payne's out in front. Digs it back for Maxwell. His shot. Rebound. Bellows couldn't get the rebound. Good body check by Bellows. Held in by Hartsburg, and the long shot steered aside by Tretiak. Pervukin clearing with 13 seconds left of the Soviet penalty. Soviets with 3 late second period unanswered goals for a 5-2 lead. Penalty almost over. Smith in the corner is bumped there off the puck. Play carries on in behind. Right out in front. Bellows could not get the shot. The defenseman going down. Hartsburg keeping it in. Plays it behind the net for Smith. Cocks it out in front of there. Loose bouncing puck picked up for the Soviets. Kazatonov against Hartsburg. They both go down. Here's Shalimov now. Kazatonov couldn't get the relay. Deflected nicely. Shalimov again. Takes it around behind. Comes back the other way. Drops it out in front. Loose puck for the Soviets in there. Kazatonov had it roll off his stick. Now Zubkov, long drive. That goes wide of Beaupre. Starikov, he scored a goal tonight for the Soviets. Keeps it in. Has it now on the point. Winds up with a slap shot. Blocked by Beaupre and gulped down the ice by Payne. Stars take the pressure off. They'll be called for icing. And the NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Beaupre with some early saves in period number 3 in relief of Marcus Mattsson. Icing indication of the Soviets get there first. They do. It'll be called against the North Star.
And McAdam floating out a little high. If Eves had made that pass to him, McAdam could have been all alone. A good try by Mike Eves. Fine play by Freese coming out of the zone. One thing the Stars have done early this period, and especially the last 5 minutes of that second period, they've had a little problem getting the puck out of the zone. The wings getting the puck along the boards or the defenseman. They've got to make sure it gets out of that zone. Soviets capitalizing a couple times on it.
Bykov on the draw. Stars smartly bring it out. McAdam feeds it across. Freese now is bumped hard in the corner. Zubkov battling with him. They dig it out of there, but Kozhevenikov steers it past Giles out to center ice, and Giles returns it back to the Soviet zone. Vasilyev over to Zubkov. Inside the line they go. Vasilyev cruising in front. The shot blocked by Beaupre, and he hangs on. A little pushing and shoving at the end of that exchange.
Well, Kozhevenikov going in on the net, and whistle had blown. North Stars getting a little upset, but he's just back from an injury. A fine hockey player, Kozhevenikov, who got hurt, missed the last game, but he's back. He's a youngster that's going to be with this team for quite some time, I think.
I want to remind you, Canada Cup Volleyball, the U.S. and Canadian national teams, plus World Pro Skiing. A couple events on CTV's Wide World of Sports this Saturday.
Well, you see Bykov getting a fine check by Kurt Giles, one of the better body checkers in the league. And here you'll see Donnie Beaupre stopping, making the save, and freezing that puck while he's down to make sure he doesn't give up any rebound.
Bykov cruising right there, banging away at his pads in search of the rebound. 4 minutes played in this third period. The Soviets, as they have to repair the ice, and a spot inside the blue line, have a 5-2 lead over the Minnesota North Stars. Unless the Stars reverse this, it'll fall on the shoulders of the Philadelphia Flyers to pull the National Hockey League even. The final game on Thursday at the Philadelphia Spectrum. We'll have it for you right here. 7:30 Eastern time for that game. Barnikov shooting it into the Minnesota zone. Beaupre steered it around the other side. Maxwell playing it ahead. In over the line for Young. Young got tied up by Barnikov, couldn't get the shot away. Skvortsov streaking down the right boards, being watched by Roberts. Down he goes. Roberts will get the call. A penalty against Minnesota. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment.
Skvortsov breaking down the right side was hauled down by Gordy Roberts right here. He'll get a hooking penalty. And Gordy really shouldn't have taken the penalty at this time because Jordy Douglas had back checked, and actually Skvortsov wouldn't have had to play with the puck. But he got him off balance. Got Gordy moving off balance. Gordy getting that stick up around the shoulders, pulling him down. The Russians on the power play.
At 4:34 of this, the third period. Cleared out by Minnesota. Puck sliding down for Fetisov, the Soviet captain. Working there against Mike Eves over to Kazatonov. Now Krutov. One of the top candidates for the Labette Player of the Game Award for the Soviet Union. He's got a couple tonight in this 5-2 Soviet lead. Brings it in across the line. All the way back for Fedosov. Back into the slot in front. Both play down. Loose puck. Krutov couldn't get the rebound, but Kasatonov keeps it in for Fedosov. Fedosov booms one. Rebound. That shot wide of the corner. Fedosov down in behind the net now. Plays it off the back of the goal. Now Mandic throwing punches at Fedosov in the corner. The Soviet player is not retaliated by punching. Is simply hanging on to him as the linesmen move in to separate them.
Mandic getting frustrated. There's no need for that at all. You know the Soviets aren't going to fight, and you're killing the penalty. He took the man out behind. They were both going to go off for penalties before that. You should have just let it lay at that time. You're taking off a good player in Fedosov as it is, so there was no need to start throwing punches at that.
Well, this is what the Quebec Nordiques did down in the Coliseum. You can't afford this kind of stuff. Cross-checks him right there. Soviet player gives him a stick, pushes him again, and away they go.
Well, Mandic getting hit with the stick should realize the other fella had a penalty. You're killing the penalty at that time. The best thing that would happen was the Soviets would have been short a man. As it is now, they're both going to go to the box. Mandic is going to be in there for some time. There's only 5 defensemen dressed. You know you've already got a defenseman in the box. Mandic losing his head should really have maintained his composure.
Well, the Soviets on the national team level certainly do not like to retaliate in fights in terms of throwing punches. Fedosov took his shots in there.
Well, you see a good chance by Fedosov. Speaking of Fedosov, a fine shot right there. He takes a pass across Beaupre, sprawling to make the save. And Larionov was right at the doorstep. Here's Fedosov taking the shot from right up the alley where he likes to shoot. Donnie making the leg save. And at the same time, Timyanev going right in for it.
Shot it wide. Fedosov talking with the interpreter, Aggie Kuklowitz now, having the penalty explained to him and the situation. He is off for the Soviet Union with 2 minor penalties, as is number 32, Dan Mandic, for the North Stars. 4 minutes and penalties assessed to him.
Both players getting minors for slashing and rushing. And Fedosov asking an interpreter what happened in that situation.
The interpreter said you got 4 minutes.
You know, I'll tell you, what's really tough is what you want to see as a commentator and what you want to see as a general manager at a time like this.
You're in a tough spot tonight, Louis.
Well, I'm not very happy with the manage in that situation. The main thing we try to tell them at noon hour as a team, maintain your composure. That's the first time we've lost it, but you shouldn't lose it at all.
Now when you're fighting to come back and trying to stay out of the penalty box to do so. Krutov, Giles around to Hartsburg. Past the 5-minute mark here in this third and final period. Soviets on top by 3 goals. Eves chasing it down into the corner, takes a bump in there, then lost his footing. Krutov again everywhere on the ice for the Soviets. They're playing 4 against 3, exclusive of goaltenders now in this penalty situation. Roberts the first off for Minnesota. Kasatonov inside the blue line, gets it back on the point. Larionov stationed there with him. Larionov quickly back to Kasatonov. Larionov booms one. Beaupre save, and Eves comes up with it. .28 seconds left in Roberts' penalty. They'll be even when he gets back out there. Timonev inside the line, drops it there. Larionov comes over to scoop it up on the boards. Quickly over to Kasatonov into the corner for Krutov. Takes a check from Maxwell. Soviets carry on. Kasatonov fakes it. Gets it back again. Taking all the time in the world. Larionov set up. Drops it. Slap shot. Rebound. Krutov couldn't get his stick on it. A booming shot from the point came right out in front again. Roberts out of the penalty box. Hartsburg with it now at the Minnesota blue line. The crowd cheering as the referee Bob Myers fell. Hartsburg brings it in. Can't split the defense. Goes off to the Soviet corner for Varnikov. Takes an elbow from Roberts in there. Larionov to center, skating slowly now back to his own zone as they change. He'll leave the ice. He hands the puck off to Bozakov. Now Sfortsov having difficulty against Giles. Forced down to the Soviet zone. 12 minutes, 45 seconds to play. Soviets ahead 5-2. Babinov for Sfortsov. Babinov in the corner. Big check on Babinov as he was sent flying by Giles. Now here's Ferguson to Young. Young getting away from Bozakov. Shoots from the angle, picked up by Tretiak. Roberts lets one go from the point. That shot all the way back to center ice for the Soviet Union. Young passed it back. Only a Soviet player was there. And Varnikov passes it over the line. Sfortsov against three defenders gives it up to Roberts. Eaves on the left side. Eaves a fine move. Right in, he shoots. Oh, Tretiak sprawled. Made the save. Eaves couldn't lift the puck high enough.
Eaves had a sensational game so far tonight.
Indeed. Play is whistled down in the center ice area. Some bristling action here nearing the midway mark of the third period at the Met Center in Bloomington.
Well, the crowd's still very much into the game at this time.
This NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Soviets got caught with too many men on the ice, and Kapustin's been nominated by Tikhonov to serve that sentence. So now it swings the other way with the Minnesota North Stars having an advantage.
Well, the North Stars need a goal to get right back in this game, and right now is a good opportunity. 4-on-3 gives you a little more ice to work with.
Vasily Pervukin just lobs it down the ice surface. McCarthy will pick it up in behind Beaupre. McCarthy getting some room now to wheel at center ice with Cicerelli. McCarthy taken down with a check by Vilya Leptonov. Back to McCarthy. Waiting, lets it go. A high shot and a glove saved by Tretiak.
Well, McCarthy was waiting for Cicerelli to get to the net. Tretiak seen Cicerelli coming, moved out in front of Cicerelli. Cicerelli had to go behind him, and he was able to glove that save. You see Tommy, he'll fake a shot right here. He's going to pump right there. You see him look. Now he waits. Dino moves towards the net. Dino's going to move in behind as you see him come through your screen behind Tretiak. It's a good thing that the goal wasn't scored while he's in the crease, or they wouldn't have counted it.
They've had one bad break already on a whistle that cost them a goal earlier. Shot out by Victor Zlutkov. Tom McCarthy. Right wing pass for Neil Broughton. Broughton skating inside the blue line. Drop back for Roberts on the point. Bless one just wide. Zlutkov having trouble clearing. Stars pick it up again. McCarthy on the point. Blocked by the Soviet player, Pervukin. Player of each team comes out as they score. The Stars make it 5-3.
Well, a good shot. The North Stars having a couple of opportunities. Gordy Roberts made a big play fighting Zlutkov off the puck. Just before we see Tom McCarthy right here getting set for a shot. That first shot was blocked. It came back, passed across to McCarthy. He gets a second shot and puts it away. A real good low drive by McCarthy, beating Tretiak on the goal stick side, and that's the side you want to beat him on.
So the penalty box was empty now. One man from each side came out, and on that goal, they let the Soviet man out as well. It's 5-3. One more look at the shot by McCarthy. Waited, lined it up, drilled it past Tretiak.
Using the defenseman for a screen, a pass across from Gordy Roberts, but Roberts initially fighting Zlutkov off that puck, making sure the North Stars were able to keep it in the zone.
So Minnesota alive with 10:37 to play, down 5-3. Cicerelli, an assist on the goal by McCarthy. Here's Payne now. Stars right back in. A redirected shot by Bobby Smith, and Tretiak had to be quick on that.
A fine play by Steve Payne, noticing Bobby Smith breaking for the net. And another fine play by Smith, because he did not play this puck at all except to redirect it. And that's what you got to do. He's being checked, redirected it, and a fine save by Vladimir Tretiak. Another goal by the North Stars right there, back-to-back. Could have got this team going wild, and gets this crowd, a very exuberant crowd here, a loud crowd, gets the North Stars going.
Came very close to a fourth goal. The third was McCarthy, Roberts, and Cicerelli at 9:20. 10:20 remaining now. Stars with new life. Giles forcing it down. Across it comes out in front from Smith. They couldn't connect on it. And the Soviets break out 2-on-1. Larionov with Krutov. Over to Krutov, and a good saving deflection off the stick of the defenseman Giles. Giles bumped down by Larionov. Krutov carries on. Pops it out in front. Less than 10 minutes left now. Bellows brings it in. Fedosov skated him off. Held in by the North Stars. Shot down by Payne behind the goal. Fedosov. Rink wide. Nobody there. Smith. Giving the puck to Hartsburg. He's checked. Maxwell carries on and drives it down to the Soviet zone. Krutov having trouble against Plett. Big Plett in there with Fedosov. His elbows fly high. Plett still chasing it back in the Soviet corner. Goes around the other way now. Here's Fedosov coming up with it. He shoots it back to center ice. Here is Eves. Dropping it back. The shot was blocked by the defense player from Plett. Plett getting physical out there on offense for the North Stars now as the Soviets have it back at center ice. Shepelev with Timonev inside the line, and Roberts scoops it away. Up to Eves. Eves getting tired, shoots it in and heads for the bench. Roberts trying to contain it there on the far boards against Timonev. Stars hold it in. 8.5 minutes to go. They're 2 goals down. 5-3. Pervukin hit by Plett. All around the backboards of the Soviet Union. Now Young. He is jammed in there by Shepelev. Dug free by Plett. Roberts. Vidyaletdinov all over him. Back finally on the point for Plett. Shoots! Tretiak got a piece of it. Bounced out in front. Krutov coming up with it. Held into the Stars. Here's the shot way up into the crowd by Dan Mandich. Great concentrated pressure and aggressive play in the Soviet zone by the Minnesota North Stars. They come up empty. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. This crowd gave the North Stars a standing ovation a moment ago for their concentrated pressure in the Soviet zone. And one thing, Lou Nanne, your team hasn't quit tonight, being down 3 goals.
Well, they certainly haven't. And, of course, they got a great deal of explosiveness up front. They get 1 goal. They can score goals rather rapidly. What they're doing right now very effectively is shutting off the boards from the Soviets, not allowing them to come out that easily.
I can't recall when I've seen the Soviets have that much trouble clearing from their own zone. They were hemmed right in by the North Stars for an extended period of time. Vasiliev on the faceoff. Puck is left there. Young feeding it in front, and Douglas couldn't get a shot away. They battle there. 2 Stars, 2 Soviets, and they hold it for a faceoff with 7:42 remaining.
Well, the Soviets seem a little tired now. You haven't seen them freeze the puck along the boards as much as they have the last few minutes, and this is something, a telling effect on how you're forechecking. Babinov right there bending over, a little tired. He's, as we said in earlier telecast, the elder statements of this hockey club, and a very physical guy. Next game, as you can see, Soviet Nationals against Philadelphia 2 days from now.
Thursday night, and a quick shot glove by Tretiak, who's bumped, and the Soviet players come in to protect their goaltender as sticks go high.
Well, the Soviets try to move Priest out from in front of the net. He was trying to, or Douglas, and he was trying to really screen Tretiak. We'll have a little replay on that shot from the blue line. You'll see the shot, and Douglas moving to the front. Tretiak gloving it, and then the hassle started as Douglas moved in.
The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. This excited crowd, 15,000 here at the Met Center, urging the North Stars on to their comeback, which they have launched here. They're within 2 goals now, down 5-3, 7:38 remaining in the game. Young against Kozhevenikov. The Soviet player wins it ahead to Vasilyev. Shoots wide of Beaupre. Here come the North Stars. Mandich. Young loops it in front of the goal, and number 14, Douglas, couldn't get there in time. It's chopped up in among the spectators. A stoppage in play with 7:15 remaining.
Well, you see a happy spectator getting a puck. Tim Young breaking down the right side. He saw Douglas breaking for the net, and he just tried to lay it in front so Douglas could deflect it into the net, but Tretiak makes a save. Young going to the outside, waiting for Douglas to cut. Douglas with good speed, getting almost there, but just without able to reach that puck, and deflected by Tretiak. As we look at Murray Oliver and Glenn Sonmore behind the net, getting their next line ready.
Well, dealing with icebergs and oil exploration in the North Atlantic. That'll be on W5. Looking at that story on the first edition of 1983, coming up on Sunday night. That's the story here. 7:15 remaining. A 2-goal difference in favor of the Soviet Union.
Well, Tom McCarthy having a fine night out there. He's out there with Neil Broughton and Dino Ciccarelli. And this is one of the lines that really has got a great deal of explosiveness in the league.
Ciccarelli is the top scorer on the Minnesota North Stars. Has a goal tonight, the game's first. Shoots it down to the Soviet zone again. Gloved quickly and returned by the Soviet defense player Kazatanov. 7 minutes to go in the game. Broughton, smart hockey player. Could not advance it beyond the blue line. Kapustin being checked by Maxwell. They pump it out in front. Dino Ciccarelli coming away with it. Soviets doing some close checking now, trying to head them off in the center ice area, are successful. Shepelev with Kapustin and Shalimov. Drop pass to Shalimov. Kazatanov. His shot is blocked by the Minnesota defenseman Maxwell. 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining now. Sonmore makes a lineup change, sending the Smith line out. Smith watching Fedosov. Pass away to Krutov. Soviet top line on the ice. Shot up in among the spectators. We have 6 minutes and 4 seconds to play. The NHL Soviet Series 83 will continue in a moment. Welcome back. This is our little home away from home. It is Lou Nanny's home here in the Met Center in Bloomington. And down the road, we've got our Soviet broadcast counterparts sending this game back to Moscow. And I think they're enjoying it back there a little more than we are here. The results so far. 5-3, Soviets lead. 5:50 remaining in the game. Bobby Smith having trouble against Larionov. Soviets with that quick burst 5-second period goals, 3 very late, have made the difference here. They were down 1-0. Stars came back to tie it at 2, but here's a chance right now. Bellows in front. The shot hit the mesh on the short side of the goal. Hartsburg shooting it back in, but it came out over the blue line with 5:23 to go.
Well, there's Brian Bellows tying up the man effectively in the corner. Payne and Hartsburg both working the puck free in the side. Just a moment too slow, because had they looked, we would have had a man moving right in the slot area. Here's Bobby Smith taking a man out in the corner. There's Payne and Hartsburg both moving in. Hartsy looking for the pass from Payne. Payne electing to shoot, hitting the short side of the net.
Eaves wins the faceoff, back to Maxwell. Hutt with a check on Babinov. Held in by Minnesota, but shot right back out again by the Soviet Union. McAdam knocked off the puck by Vozakov. Bykov coming in now. Vasilyev can't get the pass. Hutt poked it away from him. Pass shot by Kozevenikov is wide. Kozakov down the boards. Gordy Roberts with it now. 4 minutes and 47 seconds to go. It's tipped up in among the spectators. A face-off will come in the center ice area.
Well, the North Stars very intently now looking at the time, checking how much time they've got left to get back in this game. Brian Bellows right there moving down the bench, making room for the line coming off. Glenn probably would be changing his lines quickly. Keep somebody fresh, keep somebody held in a position that they can get out there and go very quickly on the puck to make sure that they got an opportunity to score.
North Stars with sustained pressure a couple of minutes ago, having trouble coming back to that with 4:35 to play. Hit with a high stick. Again, a face-off in center ice as the pace slows all the further.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do right now when you're behind, if you got some pressure going, you don't like to see too many whistles. You want to make sure you're on them quickly and tiring them out, getting yourself the opportunity.
Kapustin chasing Hartsburg in behind the goal. Hartsburg had to give the puck up under pressure. Vidyaletdinov lets a shot go, and it drifts wide of Beaupre's net. Kept in by Pervukin. Now Priest with 4 minutes and 9 seconds to play. Leaving it there for Hartsburg. Shalimov watching him as Hartsburg starts up the center. Weak shot. Did not cross the blue line by very much. The Soviets have a 2-on-1. Kapustin relays it back, and a shot by Shalimov just went wide. For Minnesota, Priest. He has one of the 2 goals tonight. 3 now the North Stars have. Shalimov takes it at center ice. McCarthy got a piece of him. Maxwell left it there. They couldn't bring it in because of the offside. Now they shoot it in. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to play. Soviets on top 5-3. Vidyaletdinov trying to find Krutov. He has 2 Soviet goals so far. Stars shooting it in. Kretschak indicates icing. Waved off by the officials. Here comes Krutov. They are 3-on-2 now. Left wing pass for Kazatanov. Digs it out for Krutov. Couldn't get a shot off. For Cicerelli too far at center ice. 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Sustained action, but no real pressure in the Soviet zone on the part of the North Stars right now. Larionov has a chance and he scores. That should put out the lights. Larionov with 2:31 remaining makes it 6-3 for the Soviet Union.
Larionov capitalizing on a mistake right there by Gordy Roberts, trying to get the puck up the middle, something you don't want to do against these fellas. Steps in, gets a good wrist shot, beating Beaupre in the far side, the goal stick side, making it 6-3. And as you said, it's going to be pretty tough to come back at 3 goals from these fellas at 2:31. Larionov, a fine shot just inside the pipe, putting the Soviets up by 3.
So after 17 minutes and 29 seconds, they score their first goal on Beaupre. Matson, who played exceedingly well in the first 2 periods, gave up 5 goals. Nonetheless, it is 6-3 now for the Soviets, who just keep the pressure coming. Mandich left it there. Worked out by Hartsburg. Pass intercepted. Kozevenikov has Vasiliev and couldn't get the puck to him. Hartsburg rolls it inside the line. Still there. A chance for Payne. That was deflected wide. Less than 2 minutes to play now. Babinov coming away inside the line for Bykov. They just got a piece of him at the last moment there. The check by Bellows. Otherwise, he would have blasted one. Bellows off his stick inside the Soviet zone, but Babinov is there first. Smith for Payne. Nobody on the point. It rolls back to center ice. Less than a minute and a half to play. Bykov streaks down the right side. Dropping it back. The quick shot blocked by Beaupre. Steve Payne. Gets away from Kozhevenikov. Tries to feed Platt. Delayed offside is called as the Soviets. Kapustin has it. We come down to the final minute of play here in the third period. 6-3, the Soviets lead Minnesota. Shalimov. Kapustin. One chance for the North Stars to put some pressure on now. The closing second to make it close. Platt bumping hard to the corner against Pervukin. So the Soviet Union is going to take a 3-2 series lead of the Spectrum in Philadelphia for Game 6 on Thursday night. Two on one, 20 seconds to go. Kapustin had it hop over his stick. Right in front again. Vidyaletdinov could not get a drive away. 10 seconds to play. Hartsburg in behind. He'll shoot it back down the ice. Right on Tretiak as the Soviet Union has defeated the Minnesota North Stars 6-3. The big damage done by a 5-goal second period outburst for the Soviets. After the Stars had scored the first goal, as Calgary and Edmonton had done before them. This time, though, the Soviets came back to win it.
Well, the Soviets with a great deal of scoring power. When you make a mistake on them in the slot area, they put them away, and they had some good opportunities. They capitalized on Minnesota trying to get the puck out a little sloppily during the second period, the last 4 minutes. 2 times moved right in, scored goals, and in the third period, after Minnesota moved to within 2, Larionov pulls a goal by just stepping in the slot, getting a shot right by Beaupre.
Vladimir Krutov scores 2 of the 6 Soviet goals. Now the presentation of the Labatt